That picture I took of Dirk fading away with the back building in the background, that's a top 10 picture I've ever taken, I think. It's up there.
Are you sure on
Oh,
this? What are some of the
this
other
is all
photos that
right.
you've
This is
taken that would be in the top 10?
well, like of sunsets or something like that, like
Okay.
as far as like a
Oh,
majestic like skyline or something like that. Like
yeah. Yeah.
not like a funny, goofy picture with you and your friends, but like of like stuff. Just like it's
Just an artistic,
right,
artisanal photo.
right. It could be a puzzle. And I think like people would put it together.
Welcome, everybody, to Court Cousins, episode 60. My name is Kyle. I'm joined, as always, by my debonair cousin, Jason the Peach. We have a show for you today, ladies and gentlemen. It is good that we have a show for you today. It's a little late. You'll find out why, and it is a psychological check-in, just a social media roundup, and a large ending. Peach, what are we going to be talking about today, sir?
Well, we've got a lot to round up because it's been 3 weeks between shows, several things going on. We're going to throw some love at JI. We're going to talk about trade possibilities, and we're going to talk about the Australian J and I finally meeting face to face for the first time. And it's going to be a good time as usual.
J.I. and the J and I. Sounds like, what's that name of that? The King and I? Anyways, here we go. It's not a great start to the show. I told you we had a show. I didn't, set the bar very high, so here it is. Shout out to all of our all-stars and second cousins over on the Patreon. Magic player history. That's Jay, Bolby the Don, Paolo and Franz's Warmth, Andy, Dylan Holden, Drum, Raph, Breadhead, Matthew Bell, Dan Young, Gloria and Damien, Connor, and Yachty.
Luke.
Is that a Dallas shout out? That's a thing?
That is my impression of the guy who does the announcing for the Dallas Mavericks, and I have more to talk about from just a game ambiance standpoint later. But anytime anyone goes up to the free throw line from the Mavericks, he announces that the guy is shooting too, but then finishes with saying the guy's first name in a creepy fade out way. And It is disturbing. And I do not like it. And I don't think many of the other people around me liked it either. It was a point of discussion where it was like, sometimes you're trying to get that thing that makes you different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And like no one told him, hey man, this is not a good look. But he's doing it, and that's his thing.
We're here, Court Cousins, episode 60. My name is Kyle and Jason.
Yeah, he like really fades it out. It's really creepy. Like at first I thought it was just a Luca thing because Luca is his first name. He's a star. It's
kind of
cool. But then he started doing it for other people where it was like, damn it. And it's like, what? Oh no, I don't like it.
And Yachty. Anyways, thank you very much to
maybe
all
it'd
of
be better if he was saying Franz, but he wasn't.
I don't know. Sounds like only Franz for sure. Shout out to all of those Patreons, anyone that supports the channel financially. Even if you're not able, thank you for subscribing, liking, spreading this to all the Magic fans to help us, pay for some of the things that go along with producing the show. And also, thank you to our Patreons because some of those funds are going to be dumped into the experience that is going to be Court Cousins Night on Thursday, March 21st, as the Orlando Magic take on the Pelicans down in Orlando. Peach and I are going to be getting down there. We're going to be doing a bunch of giveaways, meeting up with people before. Zombie Kyle may or may not make an appearance. We will see. The tickets are discounted from what they would normally be. We're in the lower bowl. As I said, we're going to do a bunch of giveaways, giving away within the first 10 people. If you're one of the first 10 people to get a ticket, you're automatically entered to win a Paolo Banchero jersey. But everyone pretty much walks away with something free. And then we're going on the court afterwards, Peach, and going to cut down the net. I got peace of mind right here on my mic stand. So it's going to be a good time. You looking around for yours?
We have two. I think I tied them together. I'm not sure where they are. I think they're back there.
I shouldn't maybe say this out loud, but last year, I don't remember who it was from the crew, But whoever went last, the staff was just like, yeah, just cut the whole rest of the thing down and just take it. So, I have this nice piece, which is dope. I'm stoked about it. But I think I'm going to just try to hold off and go last and like do a March Madness situation and put that sucker around my neck if I can't.
I approve this message.
But I just gave away my idea. So now second cousins who are coming, they're probably going to be jostling me for that position. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do like a friendly game of horse before.
Box out.
Yeah.
You got to box out.
Yeah, got to box out. Amen to that. All right, man. It's been a while. It's been like 3 weeks. I mean, we've talked a little bit in between, but not much. How are you doing, Peach, man, for the psychological check-in, sir?
I selected this picture of a almost hairless Cole Anthony driving through the lane through the Knicks here. I'm just going through it. It's going on. There's always some good and some bad. I just had my friend Aaron was in town. He actually went to the Mavericks game with me. He was in here from Vermont for a few days, and we went and did a plentitude of things with a real Texas vibe because it's his first time ever, I think, in the Central Time Zone for that matter. So, we kind of went around, showed him some stuff he'd never done, which for people from Vermont is a lot of stuff. It was a good time. But then of course there's always, it's busy at work. It's starting to slow down a little bit. We got a big Cirque du Soleil show on ice coming up this week.
What?
I'll be driving during that. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff going on and just kind of like getting through it. And it's a good time.
Will the Cirque du Soleil show be on for 2 weeks? Will it be there while I'm there?
It will not.
No, I love a good Cirque.
Yeah, this is there's another Cirque show too, but it's not until I think May, but that one's not on ice, but this one on ice. So it involves me and our staff, and it's already set up in a square, and it's going to be a thing. So
you're going through it. You said I'm just kind of going through it. Do you mean you're going through it? Is everything all right? Has it been?
Yeah, no, everything's good. No, everything's good. This ball's going in.
Oh, okay.
Right? The Magic win the game. It just is. Like I hadn't thought about how I was doing until like all of a sudden it was like, oh, I got to find a picture for the Cole Anthony check-in, and I'm like, well, things are going well, so I'll just find a picture of Cole just going well.
Yeah.
Currently, like because this sort of seems like it. Like there's not a lot. Sometimes I think it's good for me to not have a lot to say at this segment, because if I have a lot to say, it's usually not great. So, hey, here we are, going through the lane, getting buckets.
Okay.
Running it.
All right. Glad to hear.
How are you doing?
Okay. Well, I'm going to take a lot of time.
All right. I yield my time to the redheaded gentleman
from Connecticut. I have this picture just of Cole Anthony in an interview in January. And us Magic fans know Cole has been struggling in January. I think he's shooting in the 20% from three. It's not going well. He's in rock bottom right now in terms of his playing. I'm not quite in rock bottom, but man, Peach, it's been a crazy 7 days. Last Friday, I got sick. So I was really sick. Friday, I took off from work. Monday, I took off from work. You might think, okay, wonderful. It's fantastic. I am blessed to have a job where I can take some sick days. All right, fantastic. But no, Saturday, my cat, who Juno, goes into heart failure, congestive heart failure. So we have to bring him to the emergency room. And my fiance/wife, Nadra, who is an empath, and so she's beat up about it. And so now she's kind of off her rocker. She's going crazy. I'm sick. I'm in the emergency room. The cat, we're not sure if it's going to live or die. It's like hit, touch and go the whole way. He stays overnight, gets out Sunday. They give us a diagnosis. He comes home, still jacked up. We have to bring him back. And it's like, oh my God. Then we had to get the cat a fucking cardiologist, Peach. The cat has been to a cardiologist. I've never been to a cardiologist. So
well, that's good. You don't really need to see those unless there's something wrong.
That's true. That's true, I guess. But now I have a $5,000 bill for all of this shit. I'm sick. I have a $5,000 bill. My wife is like beside herself, just going up and down with these kind of emotional spasms. She's like freaking out at times. And so I'm trying to be solid for her, but also this is my homie who's on the fritz. It seems like he's okay now. We have the right medication from the cardiologist, but I don't know if you've ever tried to give a cat medicine, but it's kind of like, how can I equate it? It's like trying to manscape with a weed whacker. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, and I don't recommend it. All right, it is. I mean, maybe some cats are cool with it, but dude, he is not stoked about it, and I have to give him these 3 medications spraying down his mouth every day for the rest of his life. So I know, and so
there's got to be a better way.
It's. I think this is the better way. Besides, the other option was pills, and he really doesn't like those. So it's been a 7 days, man. Definitely been a tough 7 days, but bad things come in threes or something like that. Someone said so. I'm coming out of the valley. I'm feeling better now. The Magic are winning as well, so I think I have something to do with that. And yeah, hopefully we have some bright skies and rainbows from here on out. That's what I'm hoping for, because shit, it's been a rough week.
Well, I'm hoping for that for you too, buddy, and best of luck to Juno,
Yes.
former housemate. We spent some time together, so yeah, that's sad to hear, but glad he's still running things.
Yeah, bastard, I love him so fucking much. Bastard. $5,000.
Weed whacker to Manscaped. Let's not sleep on it. That might be one of your best analogies of all time.
It's not easy, man. He clawed me today. All right. Well, let's talk about some good news, shall we, P? Shall we get into the social media roundup? That segment of the show, and the only segment of this show, as a matter of fact, where we scour the interwebs for your interesting, insightful, or just downright funny posts about our Orlando Magic. I will do a little bit of an aside, Peach. I really think we could use a producer because we're busy as all get out. Doing the remote show adds another layer of difficulty to doing the show. It'd be nice to have someone as a producer in the mix, working on the show in between, texting some ideas here and there, just another hat in the pile. I don't know if any of you second cousins out there or patrons are interested in that. Shoot us an email or hit us up on socials. Let us know, because that would be nice, Peach. I don't know. How would you feel about that?
Well, I've always thought, we could use a third man, but unfortunately, we're the only 2 cousins in the family, so we don't have another family member to call upon. Pops is definitely not technology enough sound, although I will say he did used to kind of co-produce my TV show back in the day.
Yeah.
He would sit in the back and he would switch cameras, but someone taught him what to do. He wasn't really like dialing in people's sound, but he did have a little experience. But yeah, I'm not suggesting him for the role. But yeah, it would be nice to have another person, another voice in here, kind of like with a few just keeping it tight.
Right.
Keeping it tight.
And keeping it fresh, because we've been doing it for a while, man. It's tough to like get up like we used to and do some of like the crazy, hilarious bits. It'd be good to have someone else's energy in here, just kind of getting excited. So if you're out there and you want to get more involved with this show or just learn about podcasting and stuff like that, hey, hit us up on socials or courtcousinsmba@gmail.com. Okay. That's your only public service announcement. Let's get into our first post from Social Media Roundup. We're not going to bury the lead. We're not going to bury the lead, Peach. We're going to go right to the man. Paolo Banchero, 2023-24 All-Star. This is from Orlando Magic HQ with a fresh graphic, as always. And, man, this is big for us. 9th All-Star in Orlando Magic history. I think he's the second to win Rookie of the Year and then be an All-Star. I assume the first was Shaq. Just big time for him. He's the last one announced on TNT when they did it, just building the suspense. But it's great to see him get this acknowledgement, get this award. He talked a little bit about it on the JJ Redick Old Man and the Three, what it means to him. Very goal-oriented guy. And then this just means he sets the next goal, which he says is playoffs. So he can bask in this achievement. But again, when he spoke, very team-oriented, always wanted to give respect to the team. I just love this kid. So mature to think that he's just in his sophomore year, 21 years old, and he's already doing what he's doing, carrying us in the winning record, doing everything he can. He's become a tremendous playmaker as he's getting double-teamed every night, finding open guys. He just continues to expand his game, carry this team, become a real guy now down the stretch in the fourth quarter. It's as Magic fans, we got to be ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad, but I got to say, honestly, I'm like, he had to be an all-star here. If he's not, I'm mad. So I think this sort of just like, yep, like no shit. Like I'm happy for him that he actually got it, and I'm glad that he's in there. But I think a lot of us already kind of had that box checked, like we knew it was coming. So if it wouldn't have come and he was a snub, it'd be maybe a bigger story to me at this point. But it's great to have him in there because the Magic don't have a lot of representation on the big scene, and like we've been saying, as trying to change the narrative, the way people think about the Orlando Magic is they need to see our players, and they can't see them in nationally televised games. So hey, here's one guy, and then people will be like, who's this guy? And I'll be like, oh, that's that guy that was the first round pick of a dude. Oh yeah, that's right, they got him. And then they'll probably talk a little bit about the Magic, might make people check in. It's good for the growth of the franchise to growing back into respectability and to a team that commands your respect. And he's been like you said, he's a great young man off the court, which makes it very easy to root for him. You wish for him to succeed. He's not posting things on TikTok that are inappropriate. You know what I mean? He's like just doing basketball, doing it well, having a list of stuff and checking it off. And I'll tell you what, maybe it's even a personal thing, but that is something that's really, truly to be respected from me, is to have goals, set those goals, get them. And then I don't think he was popping champagne and spraying it in the locker room necessarily. Right. Maybe. But he does take a moment to recognize the achievement, but then says, hey, next, I'm on to the next, because he has a list of stuff that is, playoffs and probably winning in playoffs and eventually championship. So far he's been checking those boxes, and that's good to see too, because you like to see somebody that can actually come through with checking the things off on their list. So it's a big thumbs up. Congratulations to Paolo.
Yeah, he's just continue to get better. The 3-point shooting is something that's really come along this year. He's shooting 36% from beyond the arc, up from 29.8% last year on the whole. So that's huge. And then the assists, as I said, the playmaking stuff, and I know it's just assists aren't a measure of playmaking, but 5 assists a game this year, up from 4.3. That number is going to even tick up. As I said, I think there's a lot of triple doubles in Paolo's future. We've just started to see him scratching the surface of the player that he's going to become, and we're witnessing it. We're witnessing the rise. I think Chris Vernon on the Mismatch thinks that he's going to be one of the top 5 or 10 players in the NBA, and he can definitely do that. And this is the start of it. This is the start of it. It's great.
Yeah, I saw Jay's. I don't think we have one of it, but one of Jay's posts from this week was showing where Paolo was moving on the all-time scoring list for the Magic. But you also see him moving up those like free throws attempts and all this
right
stuff. And like I'm pretty sure he was like he's really close on the Magic's all-time scoring list already. Like he's in the top 25, I think. And like he's only played a year and a half. Like, take a second and let that wash over you, how little he's played. Because we were saying these things about Franz last year too, where it's like, wow, look how quickly he's moving up these lists. Paolo's already catching Franz. Like it's impressive to see that. And I know we don't have a vast history past 1989 to draw from, but this guy is already becoming one of the most influential, best players in Orlando Magic history. And we're talking about a year and a half. Yeah, and that's amazing. So of course he's got to be an all-star.
Yeah. I like that. You said that we already had it kind of checked off. Us Magic fans were really already figuring he was having an all-star season. But I was a little worried about it, honestly, Peach, because like you also alluded to, we don't get a lot of national hub or pub in the national media. We had this. Someone said, this is the only rookie of the year and then all-star who hasn't had a freaking nationally televised game yet, except on NBA TV. And I don't think he still has had one yet. I think there might be one scheduled before the all-star game, but they're really doing him a disservice, and hopefully the national media catches on. I was a little worried. I mean, people are talking about Trae Young, who was a snub. I didn't think all the Scotty Barnes nonsense was going to creep in. I definitely saw him above that. But, Trae Young's a popular player amongst young people, and his stat lines are pretty egregious. DeJounte Murray's having a good year. I thought the Hawks might get one of those two guys in. I was a little bit worried. But what makes me feel really good is not only is that he got in on the coaches vote. So the coaches around the league are saying, yeah, Trae Young, those stats are nice, but your style of play, you don't play any fucking defense and you don't necessarily contribute to winning. But this guy, Paolo Banchero, who's constantly drawing double, triple teams and assisting and making his team better. Not to say Trae Young doesn't assist. I think he's averaging like 10 or 11 assists, but I just like that the coaches were the ones who saw in Paolo and were the ones to get him voted in. We can do better as fans. I know you poo-poo the fan vote, but he got quite a few for being in the unknown of Orlando. And I don't know. I was thinking about this. What do you think about this take? Jamal Mosley is a really beloved guy. Is there any, I mean, I know the coaches probably vote for really good players, not take anything away from Paolo. Is there any in there that you think the coaches are like, man, Mosley needs to get one. He's doing a hell of a year. Paolo's a hell of a player. Let's give him the nod over something.
Maybe. I mean, I think you hit on a lot of the things coaches would think about when they're making those votes. If I was a coach making votes, I think I'd take a look around the league and I'd be like, what guy is a problem on each team that we play that we have a hard time like game planning for?
Right.
And who's producing and who's also winning games. And you kind of go through and there's the obvious guys that probably already got in on the fan vote and some of that stuff. And you realize that like, oh, this guy's a problem when we play Orlando, man. We don't even know how to game plan for this kid yet. He's young, but
he's 21. Right?
If you stop him from driving, which he's great at, he's been hitting a lot of tough mid-range shots lately. Like if we double team him, he's passing to Franz and other shooters and they're making, and it's like, what do you do? I don't think I think it is great that the coaches got him in there. And this is part of why I don't like the fan vote, is because the fans stupidly weren't going to put him in there. But the coaches were like, we'll do the right thing. We watch and we see a lot of this basketball. We know that guy. He's a guy. So we're gonna put him in there. We're gonna fix the error made by the humans.
Maybe we need to reach out to get a third producer on the Second Cousin show, the third second cousin, or cousin on Court Cousins. It should be Joe Ingles, I think. I think we need to reach out to him. This man's sense of humor is unparalleled. I don't know if you saw this, Peach, but there is a video. This is from Not Another Magic Pod on Twitter. I don't know where they saw this this video, but they clipped it. They're on the bus coming from, I don't know, they're checking into a hotel, and all the guys are going to be going to a room to watch the announcement. And Ingles is, just talking. He's John with Paolo a little bit. He's like, so you really have no idea right now? Like they didn't tell you have no idea? And Paolo turns around. He's like, nah, I got no idea, bro. And Ingles is like, damn, so this could be kind of awkward then. Like implying that if they all go to this room and he doesn't fucking get it, it'll be awkward as hell. Just like lightening a mood, which was really tense. Joe Ingles, we just continue to hear how, and again, from Paolo in the interview with JJ Redick, they talked a little, like for 10 minutes about Joe Ingles and just his hilarity and the way that he lightens the mood and the way that he just makes the team cohesive and fun, but also competitive. And this moment is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, Magic fans, check it out. Go on Twitter, look at Not Another Magic Pod, and give yourself a laugh watching that clip. It's only about 12 seconds.
It would be good to have Joe. I feel like he might be a little busier than even you and I, maybe, perhaps. Also, don't know how Jay would feel about that. Another Australian getting on the show there.
True.
We have to run it by him first.
True. He is
He's
our
kind
favorite.
of our Australian correspondent.
Right. Yeah. He is our favorite Aussie for sure. Okay, let's go into the next one. We got to talk about J.I. We got to talk about J.I. Peach. He's been back. He's been playing in back-to-back games, although only the first half of the second game. This post is from the Six Man Show, and it says J.I. might be our third best player. I got another one here from Welt God in the same ilk. Only J.I. can score 3 points and still be one of the most impactful players in a win. Just talking about, and then there were just some hilarious ones. I mean, they have the crossover, the Jesus crossover. Not tonight, Satan, and not tonight, the Minnesota Timberwolves. That one is money from, who's that? At @fade_Martins. I mean, Twitter was lighting up with, praise and memes for Jonathan Isaac, who has been a lockdown defender. This one from Magic Sam talking about looking at the players that Jonathan Isaac has guarded in his limited minutes even, and he has guarded Giannis. Giannis went 4 for 12, went with J.I. on him. He on his possessions on Luka went 0 for 3. On his possessions on Jason Tatum, 4 of 10. Last night he locked down Karl Anthony Towns. Huge block at the end of the game. Karl Anthony Towns, Magic are up by 2. J.I. blocks it. They go down the other end. Who took this? I think Paolo took the shot, misses. J.I. tips in. We're up by 4 now. It's a different game. So like J.I. is having huge impact, only still averaging small minutes. And as you're talking, I'll figure out exactly how many minutes he's averaging. But I mean, his impact so outsizes the minutes he's been playing, Peesh. And I keep repeating to myself, like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, because like you said, Peesh, he's starting to lure me back in. He's starting to throw the ball in the backyard, and we're having a good time, and things are going well. And I just don't want to get my heart broken again.
He says he doesn't even smoke anymore. So you think he can't leave me for a pack of cigarettes this time?
Right. Yeah. And I'm just worried. And but I gotta. It's amazing what was happening. Let's see here. He's playing 14 minutes a game right now. 14 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I need more minutes.
Yeah.
because he's playing that well that, like, regardless of the fact that, God, great point. 3 points a game, still impacting the game. That's the kind of dude you always knew he could be. You always spoke highly of his defense. Look, we all knew that was something, and it is impressive to see his defense against guys that are much younger, and he's tall and taller, right? Wemby,
yeah, a little bit.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, send him back. I mean, his defense is so impressive that I just want more. That's all. Like, it's just, I want it more. Is he good because he's only giving you 15 minutes, so he's going balls to the wall? Could you do the same thing in a 30-minute?
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. Like,
let's try.
At some point, if we are playing hypothetical, which, I hate to do, but let's go ahead and play a hypothetical game where the Orlando Magic are in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Is he not going to play back-to-back games? If with the season on the line, is he only going to play 15 minutes? At some point, you got to give this guy a trial run to see if his body can hang with what's going on, because I don't think a roster spot is good enough. 15 minutes, and like, are we going to go forward with this guy? Are we going to re-sign him? We need to see a bigger scope. The most insane stat that I heard in between this two set of games was when the Orlando Magic themselves posted that this was J.I.'s first start on January 29th of this year, 2024. It was his first start since 2020. And I was like, wow. If you would have told me during even just the iterations of this show that I would be at the first J.I. start in Dallas in January 2024, I would have been like, so over this guy a long time ago, because that's way too far. But his play on the court is just, it cannot be denied what he's bringing to the table for the Orlando Magic. It's that big inside guy that he can guard any position. Up and down, doesn't matter who it is. He can do it. And it's like, I just want to see you do it more, because I just need that more. Like, are you made of paper mache, or are you human being? Like, can you hang? Because we have to make a decision about whether you stay or go. If you just watch highlights of J.I., you're thinking this is one of the most dominant players in the NBA. But what you don't see is the fact that he's only on the court for, 15, maybe 20 minutes a game, and it just isn't enough. And it's like, you need that we could have used him in the second half of that Mavs game. It was great that he got the start, but I sure would have liked to see him show up a little in the third when we needed defense.
That's when I was texting you, man. I was like, oh, it's okay. Coach Mosley, he's holding that ace in his pocket till the end of the game, and you just wait. Like, we're going to win this game because Coach Mosley's going to insert J.I. in the fourth quarter when Luka thinks he's in the free and clear, and all of a sudden he's just going to get clamped down and we're going to win this game, but he never came back. And I think that's my biggest frustration is what you're touching on, Peach, is as a fan, I just want to see it back. Like, I want to see him back to like 2019-20 when he was playing 28 minutes a game, and he's playing half of that now. He's playing 14 minutes a game, and they're just taking it super duper slow. And if I put on my rational hat, I have to understand that, that's probably the best thing to do, because there's no reason necessarily to rush. Our two best players are 21 years old, so we don't need to necessarily be pushing for a championship this year. We would like to be in the playoffs, and we would like to win a first-round series, and J.I. is going to have to be there and be a part of that, but maybe by that time of year, he can be up to 20 minutes, and that's something that can be a more major impact on the team. It is an interesting question because I believe the contract is one more year. Right now, it's not guaranteed. It's a team option. Are we going to pick up that option? Are we going to extend the contract? Are we going to not pick up the option and try to re-sign him to a different deal? Like, is there a world
or trade him? I feel like he's still a piece that could be tradable because teams are just watching the highlights. They want him.
I know, but like in these glimpses, you can't trade. This guy is the X factor in a championship team. Like, we just beat the best team in the West. If he's healthy, we need him against the Celtics. We need him against the Bucks to defend guys like Porzingis, Tatum, Giannis. Like, if we're going to really push in the next few years to competitive level, trying to play, like, we need him. I think you can't trade a guy like this, as frustrated as I might be.
We don't need him. We need someone that does that.
Yeah, that's
fair.
That
can be on the court. I agree with you. I like what I see. But if he can't give me 25, 30 minutes a game on that best player, I don't want him taking up a roster spot for just 10-minute spot. Like, we need him in there at the end of the game, stopping Lucas, stopping Tatum, stopping Kevin Durant. That's what you need. But you need him then. You need him more regularly. You got to be on the court, man.
Yeah.
It is extra frustrating the more we go because you see how good he is. Before it just frustrated me, but now it frustrates me even more because it's like, bro, you're capable of doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It's like when you meet a friend who's like really good at shit, but he's lazy and doesn't do it. And it's like, oh man, like, just come on.
You could do it.
Be more. And I don't even know if it's his call. Probably it's not.
No, it's definitely not.
But it's gotta be frustrating for him. But I still say it should be on the table that if they felt like they could get something from other people, I still think he's a trade option.
Oh man, it's so tough when you see glimpses like this because this is what I said I wasn't gonna do, and I'm just gonna do it though. Imagine you don't pick up that option, you re-sign him to like a 3 or 4 year deal, but it's on a song because he has been so injured, and there are a lot of question marks around it, but you get that type of player for like 15, 16, like on a similar contract, $15 million a year with this salary cap going up the way it's going to be going up in the next 5 years. I mean, that is going to be bargain basement. And if he does get healthy and you have that player for 25 minutes a game to 30 minutes a game on a $15 to $18 million contract every year, like, that is crucial for the salary building, the team construction from a salary cap perspective to building a championship team. You need some of those guys that are just overperforming what they're getting paid in order to really compete. And there's that possibility with him. There's that possibility with Markelle Fultz, who I'm, super frustrated with and just kind of have my hands up, don't know what to do because you love the guy and you want him to succeed, but he's looking like he just can't shoot right now with the TOS. And it's a tough spot right now. I don't envy
Jeff
Weltman.
Oh, he's back.
I'm back. Just like J.I.
A lot of what you just said went away from me. I don't know if you got it, but
well,
your screen went black and I couldn't hear you for like.
No, I think
2
the
minutes.
people got it. I heard an odd noise, like I was about to be abducted by aliens. It was like bling bling, bling bling, and I was like, "Beat me up. This is it. Probe me. Don't probe me. I've been naughty. Probe me." Anyways.
It was probably just the annoying sound of speculation trade season coming in.
All right, let's get right to it. That was a great transition, Peesh. To this post, we have it from JG, and he's been catching a lot of flack on Twitter because he was in a spot like me not too long ago, Peesh, where he had a tweet about, we were losing a bunch of games, and hey, if we lose a few more and Chicago keeps winning, you got to fire up the tankathon. And people now are like reposting that and saying like 5 wins since JG called for the tankathon. Back off my boy, okay? I was there. I was in that darkness too. It was never a tankathon time this year. No, I know. Well, I on the last episode, I said I didn't think we were going to be top 6 at the end of the season. And now, man, it looks so different from 3 weeks ago. That's what you said. It doesn't make it like legit, or it's just that was your thoughts. It was like, but they were incorrect thoughts. you were feeling a little down about the team, so you were kind of like, I don't know. I was. That's okay, and that's all right. If your expectations are still down there, when we do finish top 6, you'll be like, great, because we could easily finish 6. Yeah, and I wasn't like, I didn't think we would be far behind 6, but I just didn't think we'd be 6. I thought maybe 7 or 8. And you know what? Like, hey. The Pacers are still good. Buddy. It's a long season, and we still haven't achieved that. There are teams ahead of us that are still playing well. They're not gonna give it up. We'll see what happens. The last 2 seasons, the Magic have played much better after the All-Star break. I don't have any reason to think that it won't be the same this year, with or without a trade. Well, speaking of Tankathon, if you go, they also have this feature where you can rate difficulty of schedule, and the Magic, I believe, still have the easiest schedule in the league from here on out. So. That doesn't mean anything. We play well against better. We play better against good teams. That's fair. But putting on my glasses. For what's happening? Corner. Are you going to be very? Yeah, you're going to be very intellectual right now. It looks like, Peesh. Yes, we're going to be speculating about things. Yes, we'll stroke. Making outrageous claims about basic mid players like Tyus Jones. Make your point. Okay, well maybe it's time for me to go into a little conspiracy mode. I'll put on some shades as well. All right. So the teams ahead of us have gotten better though. There's been some people making some moves. The Knicks made a move, got OG Anunoby. The Pacers made a move, got Pascal Siakam. Peach doesn't care. But I think that's why some in the Magic community are thinking, hey, they got better. We got to keep up with the Joneses. We got to get better if we want to be in the playoffs. So JG says, I know I'm in the minority, but I'm indifferent. And he's referring to a post saying rival executives believe the Wizards would be willing to trade Tyus Jones for multiple second-round picks. So, this is going to begin our trade talks. We have Tyus Jones here. Peesh, you posted something here from Christian at Bendito_1914. How does it look? And it's DeJounte Murray in a number 11 Magic jersey. What say you, Peesh? Say this. Yeah. Now, look, I know I've been out of the Twitter game for a while because they're calling it X now, and I'm kind of against that still because everybody still calls it Twitter even though it's X. So it's dumb. But I started to go back and look at it a little bit because I kind of wanted a little bit of content. I wanted to keep up a little bit more with the team, and I pull it up the other day. I see this and I go into straight panic mode, and it reminded me why I don't like being on Twitter, because a guy posts this and I immediately think, shit, did we trade for DeJounte Murray? Oh crap, I gotta go find more stuff. And then it's just this guy playing around, making a picture and posting it up there, and I felt like, damn it, this is why I hate X/Twitter, because he's got catfished. You see this and you think, yes, exactly, and it's like I panicked for like 5 to 10 minutes while I struggled to pull up
actual sources to see like, oh my God,
Yeah,
did this happen?
So I take it you
And
don't
it's
want
like,
this.
no, thank God. No, I don't want that. I mean,
Okay.
look, I know you're a big fan of the number 11. That jersey
Yes.
looks slick, but
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not that interested in the guy that feuded with Paolo Banchero and
Right.
seems like he might be a little bit of a team cancer coming into a team that is got a fresh bill of health. No,
Right.
I'm not into that.
Right. Yeah.
Tyus Jones for two second rounders doesn't sound like a big risk,
Yeah.
except for the fact that if you bring him in, what happens to Cole Anthony? Does Markelle
Yeah.
Fultz ever play again? Like, you're
Yes.
making a statement to guys that are on the team if you make that move, which is okay. It's just bigger than just getting another guy in because he's going to have to play.
And the reason that Tyus Jones and they're okay moving for 2 second-round picks is because this is the last year of his contract. So you're renting him for 2 second-round picks, and you'd have to be sure you're going to re-sign him because he's a free agent this year, not even a restricted free agent. He's a straight-up free agent. So I think the thinking is like, if you really like Tyus Jones, this is kind of the move that the Pacers made. Pascal Siakam, I believe he's a restricted free agent, but they like him so much and they're in a small market and they're saying, we want to get him in our building, get him in our culture, and we're going to make an effort and we're going to re-sign him. If you really love Tyus Jones and you want to get him in the building and get a leg up on signing him, okay, great. But you're absolutely correct, Peach. I think I replied to this post with exactly kind of what you said. I said, if I'm indifferent on this too, I'm indifferent to if you bring in a guy like Tyus Jones, that means Markelle or Cole are gone. And because Cole just signed his extension, it's what's called like a poison pill contract. You cannot trade. There's like a penalty for if you just signed a player and you trade him within, I think, a calendar year of signing him. There is a large penalty that goes along with that. And there's some stipulations as to what you can bring back. So it's really not in your best interest to ever do that, to sign a player and then immediately trade them. So probably not Cole. Does it mean Kell is out the door? Gary Harris, who's back? Maybe if it's just taking up the Gary Harris minutes, okay, I guess, because Gary's been a non-factor. I don't know. Do you want to see, I guess, for a more broad conversation, Peach, do you want to see the team make a trade? Like, will it be a disappointment for you if there's no trade at the trade deadline here, which is coming up in 5 days?
You said more of a broad conversation. I thought we were going to talk about women for a second, but I guess that's an old school thought. So your question is, do I think we need to make a trade?
Do you want it? Do you want us to make a trade? Do you think? Yeah, both of those questions.
I guess not really. I sort of am just like, the only reason I could see making a trade is to be like a little bit of a freshener. Like, the team kind of went through that little down run and it seemed like maybe we needed to change something up. Every once in a while, you just change something up just to change something up and it screws stuff up. So I'm on the fence as to whether a new guy at this point would help or hurt. I feel like the team camaraderie is there. So I don't think you should mess with that too much. But then again, if there's a great opportunity on the table that benefits us, you have to consider it because we are not championship ready as is. So if there's a way we feel we can get better, not necessarily this year, but better for the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years, then you have to consider it. If somebody really is in love with Goga and needs the big man, or if somebody really wants Wendell. I know Wendell's at the center of a lot of these trade talks, and I feel partially responsible for bringing it up well beforehand. But like, it just seemed like a guy somebody might want, and now I still feel like J.I. kind of fits that bill, where it's like these are guys that like and even Kell, like, okay, are they going to play big minutes for us? We can't trust them. We don't know. If somebody else wants to take on that burden, and we can get a guy who will play 75 games. I kind of want the 75 games guy. Yeah. I know what those guys can do. I don't know what the other guy can do, but I know he can fill the box score and be there and put minutes on the board. And in the end, I could be wrong because that guy could come in and absolutely not fill the stat sheet other than putting up minutes on the board. But I'm at a point where I'd like to see people who are on the court more often that can produce and do something. So if it's out there, go for it. I don't think it's necessary because it seems like the team has kind of bounced back a little bit from that downfall without needing that trade freshener. So if they make a deal, it's got to be a beneficial one for us long term. Otherwise, I ain't into it. And it can't be just a year rental. It has to be that it's going to be for something more.
Yeah, man. I'm in the same boat. Man, I fluctuate. I fluctuate like a woman having hot flashes or something on this. Just the way depending on how I'm feeling about the team. Because if you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, yeah, man, we need to get someone in here who can play. Like someone who doesn't have an injury history, someone who can play because we were so nicked up. And now I'm like, no, man, everyone's together, everyone's playing well, let's keep it together. And I think the right answer is somewhere in between. So, maybe it is moving on from a couple of these guys for a more reliable player who does fit into the long-term vision for the team. If it's coming in. I don't like Tyus Jones because he's a very small guard. And if you look at Jeff Weltman and what he's trying to build, it is a huge, lanky-ass team. So if I'm thinking of guys that are out there that might be available, I know I'm calling up the Bulls and we're saying, hey, I know we fleeced you for Vooch, and I'm sorry about that. But here, let me give you a first round pick back or something, and maybe some second round picks, and here's a couple guys, Gary Harris expiring deal, and Chumo KK, you can resign him maybe, or who knows, if you have to put my feet to the fire, maybe there's a Markelle Fultz involved in this, but give me back Caruso. Give me back a guy who is a point of attack defender, a long two guard. I mean, can you imagine him coming off your bench like next to Cole Anthony? That would really help. Caruso next to Jalen Suggs, like those types of dudes.
Everything you just said to the Bulls went straight to voicemail, because if I'm the Bulls and I see the Orlando Magic pop up on here,
just hanging up.
Nope. No, thank you. I'm not taking that call. They couldn't afford to make another blunder with the Orlando Magic and keep their fan base. So I think they're just going to pass. But I get your point. Then what you're looking for a player, or what we want or what we could use, is there. And it would be nice. It would be nice to have a somewhat veteran NBA player come in who's been around a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and who has just hustle coming out their butt, right? Like just they hustle hard, like, and Caruso's a good example, because you look at this guy and no one thinks he looks like a basketball player, and he's like, I'm going to show you. And that's why that guy gives 110% every time he's out there. If we bring somebody in from the outside, it's got to be one of those type of guys that's going to kind of like have so much energy that the guys are going to feed off it, because I can't have this new dude out hustling me. Like that's the kind of shakeup I think we could use if we bring somebody in.
I wrote a whole article about a bunch of players on OrlandoMagicDaily.com. It was mostly around shooting, trying to get some more shooting in here, because we are still, if not the worst team in the NBA in terms of 3-point percentage. We're among the worst. So that still is a huge need, but I just thought of Caruso off the top of my head as we were talking, and I kind of like that more than anyone else. If you're going to push some assets in, you want it to be someone who's under contract. You want it to be someone who's a long defensive-minded guy to fit in with Jamal Mosley, but he can also shoot the ball. So someone like that, it might not be Caruso, but as you said, somebody in that ilk. But I don't see us making anything major, man. I think it's going to be small or maybe nothing. It might be nothing.
Well, we know how much the Orlando Magic hate second-round picks. So honestly, if that's all they want for Tyus, we could see Tyus coming in. But
True. Yeah. If that's all you need, here, take it, and whatever salary match we need to make it work this year for you. Because we're trying to go to the playoffs, Peach. We're not only trying to go to the playoffs, we're trying to win a playoff series. And it's been a while. You pulled this graphic here. This is the longest teams of the major four with playoff series win droughts. And the oldest one is the Reds, 1996. And the Baltimore Orioles, 2015. You were in high school? Yeah, I was 9. Damn.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So sorry about it, Reds. I'm not sure what the football ones mean. It might just be a playoff win.
Playoff win. It must be
series in football, but
you get in, and lose.
I mean, you see other teams on there: the Hornets, the Kings, the Timberwolves. Obviously, those teams have had troubles, and as out of the Pistons, I think we don't feel as bad for the Pistons because they've had some championships in their past, so we don't think about it. But with those other three, and definitely the Magic in there as well. 2011, it seems longer. I don't remember who that was. Who did we beat? Do you know?
2011. I mean, that was Dwight Howard's on the way out there. Don't know who we beat.
Yeah, but any team with Dwight Howard in its prime was probably good enough to make the second round of the playoffs. But it's been a minute. It's good to reflect on it and think about it and just realize that, like, we're not in a rush to get that out of there, right? Like we were just talking about. There's no need to rush to win that this season because we do have a limitation. I don't think we're going to the NBA Finals this year, no matter what kind of run we get on.
Yeah.
So, like, just the act of getting that first playoff series win would be big emotionally, I think, for the team and for other teams to realize, oh, this team's legit. Like, they're coming. They can do it. And I think the real hoopsters and I think the players already kind of respect the Magic on that level.
Yes.
I don't think they want to play us
except Pat
in a
Beverly
7-game series
yes.
over and over, except for Pat Beverly. But you know what? Part of how you put respect on it and you shut up guys like Pat Beverly is actually winning, actually producing.
That would be so amazing if we beat the 76ers and Pat Beverly's ass in the to beat this. Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh boy, that would be kind of good. Yeah, it's almost too good to think about. But yeah, it's just food for thought once in a while to realize that we're not alone in the playoff droughts. There's other squads.
It's been
out
13
there.
years. There's we can one or two. I'm not willing to wait. After this year, we gotta get this monkey off our backs. But yeah. We're not alone.
Yeah,
Man,
we've won. So we've been to some finals, right? But like the Hornets, Kings, Timberwolves. I mean, I think the Kings did back in the day when they were in Kansas City or maybe wherever else they were beforehand. But it's just
the Hornets on this list.
Man.
If you're looking, so there's only I guess there's five NBA teams here. The Hornets and the Kings from 2005, and the Timberwolves from 2005. The Kings are playing really well. And so are the Timberwolves. You feel good about them being able to win a series this year. The Pacers, 2015, really not that long ago, they're playing pretty well. They've got Tyrese Halliburton, one of the most dynamic players in the NBA, that you could see them definitely winning a playoff series. Our team, as you said, you could see them winning a playoff series. The odd one out here, man, is the Charlotte Hornets. They are just in a weird spot. And they are bad. I mean, Brandon Miller looks pretty good, but LaMelo Ball, I don't love him as a player. And they still look like they got years to go before this thing turns around.
They're not close. At least they got a slick, clean-looking logo.
Yeah. Oh, the Pistons here, 2009 too. They're not really close at all. Although they got Cade Cunningham. I like that as a building block.
Apparently they're not close. I don't know. When you look at the roster, you think, the pieces are there. They're young, but they should be doing something.
I don't know why they are not. Okay, I feel like I'm qualified, Peach, to talk on this one, not only because I'm Irish, but also because I'm wearing a cardigan right now, and I didn't plan that. I just happened to be. So, yep, there's that. And this one's just
what happens
fun.
when you put a card again. You card again.
Yeah.
So I put this one in thinking we were going to use this in the large ending.
Okay.
To be fair.
Okay.
But for those of you that don't follow the show all the way to the end, these are the kind of gems you can expect when you get there. We talk about stuff that's not the Orlando Magic. I saw this post and thought, oh my God, holy crap. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are mashed potatoes just Irish guacamole? And I go to a man who's 50% Irish to ask this question. Is this true? And we love mashed potatoes. Love them.
I love mashed potatoes. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with no though. I don't see the mashed potato, and this is maybe sacrilegious. Maybe I'll lose my my green card. And I do have dual citizenship. I am an Irish citizen as well, so they might revoke me if they see this. So I'm taking a real risk.
You should try it out for the Irish basketball team.
I know. That was
you could have made it. I think.
The Irish national team, me going up against Paolo Banchero.
You could have been getting yelled on by some of these fellas. Maybe when you were younger, it probably would have been the Vince Carter era. He would have been jumping over you.
He would have jumped over me with ease, dude. Oh man, but I was a realistic child. I was like, I'm a decent athlete. I'm not a supreme athlete, but I'll just try out for the Irish national teams and not the U.S. national teams. I had my sights set realistically, but I didn't even really reach those heights. So what are you going to do? But I just feel like guacamole is a little bit more versatile, Pish, That's why I don't find myself putting mashed potato. Oh, I do actually. I was going to say I don't
potatoes
find
on
it.
everything.
Yeah, well, I put guac on anything. You put it as like a topping, as a filling, and I was like, wait, I do the same thing with mashed potatoes. So maybe mashed potatoes is just a vehicle, like guacamole can be a vehicle for many other things. So yes, I think I do. We have found a common ground here with our Latin brethren. Yeah.
Potatoes are the Irish mashed potatoes are the Irish guacamole. Confirmed. We've done it.
That's what we do here. We build bridges. Okay, Peach, let's go to maybe I don't know if it's not Magic related, but is this your second NBA team now? I don't know if you have a second NBA team. I
do. It's the Bucks. We've talked about it several times.
I know that. What the hell am I talking about? Is it your third
know if
team
they
now?
Qualify as that. I guess it would be, although I've only been to one Mavs game, and it was when they played the Magic earlier this week. So that really counts. But yeah, I'll root for the home team, I suppose. I saw this post and just thought to myself, ooh.
Yeah.
What?
Hoops Nation.
Why?
Yeah. No, the Mavs fumbled badly, and it's a picture of Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Porzingis, and you forget, it wasn't that long ago, all three of these guys were on the same squad. Jalen Brunson is now an all-star starter for the Knicks. Kristaps was left out. He's one of the more palpable snubs because he's having a tremendous year for the Boston Celtics. But it doesn't look good for Luka when you see this type of stuff. You see these two guys going other places. I guess Rick Carlisle was the coach at the time as well, and then they kind of shifted gears once all these guys got sent out. But that doesn't look good, man. Jalen Brunson, they really fumbled that bag. They did not sign him the year before when he was extension eligible. They could have signed him for 4 years, $50 million, and the way that they talk about it is that he probably would have signed that deal. He wanted that deal. He felt disrespected that they did not give him that deal, and then, of course, he balled out and ended up with a 4-year, $100 million deal for the Knicks. When he signed that, the Knicks, Leon Rose got to get some credit to that guy because when he signed that, people were like, that seems like a lot. $25 million for Jalen Brunson, who is just kind of a guy, a secondary guy. But he has been, now it's like a bargain. Now that's one of the best bargain deals in the NBA. Right. And yeah, that tandem should have been something, and they sputtered out in the what was it, the semifinals, I guess?
They made the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and you know what? That's something. Maybe they didn't fumble that badly. They go into the Western Conference Finals. I feel like sometimes we have this culture of like, if you don't win it all, you didn't win anything. It's like, that's still pretty impressive.
Well, it was good, but it was like, hey, you just run this back, right? Like if it was good enough for that last year, like keep going. It's definitely not fumbled badly because of those unis, because those unis are a mystery to me. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think. I think Brunson was viewed as a secondary player, maybe rightfully so, because if you're on a team with Luka, you're automatically going to be the secondary player, but doesn't mean that you're not still super important.
Right.
I think they'd rather have had him than the efforts that Tim Hardaway Jr. puts in, although hard to say because against the Magic, he looked like a starting all-star as well. But like, I don't think he does that as regularly as Jalen Brunson was capable of doing in his prime. But, I don't want to spend a ton of time talking on the Mavs, but it does feel like a bit of a fumble. These are the kind of things you want to avoid, right?
Right.
Like we have
it's
a good
cautionary
team,
tale.
Group of guys. That's why everyone's like, oh, keep Cole.
Yeah.
Keep Suggs. Like, you don't want to be in this situation where you let some of those guys go. And then you end up keeping everybody just hoping it works all the time. But I think at the end of this season, we'll have to take a look and decide who is not going to be in this picture. And can we afford to move some of those guys to get other guys in that will make us seem more formidable going forward. So,
okay. We'll finish with Magic. Bit of news. We have a quote from Dwight Howard on hearing of the Shaquille O'Neal jersey retirement. He says, I should have mine too. This is Dwight Howard on Shaq's jersey retirement from Clutch Sports.
Yeah, Dwight's spot on. We know we've spoke about this before. There's no doubt about it. And as this graphic shows us, McGrady and Hardaway with the ones up there as well. Yep, take it off JI immediately. He should not be wearing it. It should have never gotten this far. That one is still out there. But Dwight Howard for sure, absolutely. It is not. It seems again like it's just a him following in Shaq's footsteps thing, but
Right.
like he didn't just step in his footsteps. He made his own print. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like he did a lot of great stuff. If you look at that era of Dwight and what he was doing, it was very effective, and he needs to be rewarded for it. And the fact that again, it's too long for Shaq's to be done. It's too long for Dwight's. It's too long for the other guy. But if you're starting to do Shaq, then everybody else is on the table now, and he's at the head of it.
Yeah, we talked about this. We covered this. I've said my piece. This needs to happen. Also in the graphic, you got Tracy McGrady and Hardaway. Both those ones need to be retired. I'm sure this is coming in quick succession. Okay, and that last thing, Peach, that I want to hear about is I want to hear about how it was meeting the man, the myth, the legend in the human flesh. This is from Magic player history, who was in Dallas, and he says, despite the loss, an awesome night for my Magic fandom. Got to pick with my hero, Daryl Armstrong. Got to meet Mike Miller. Another chance to catch up with Dante. He got a picture with Anthony Black, and most importantly on this, he finally linked up with his cousin, Peach, from Court Cousins.
Yeah, it was crazy when he dropped in the DM. I was like, oh my God, I forget. I'm trying hard not to do the Australian accent now that I've spent time talking to him, but he just was like, hey, I'm going to be at that game. I was like, oh, we gotta link up. We got to meet up. He told me where he was sitting and all that stuff. And we watched him. He had much better seats than I did, but if you come all that way, you should.
Yeah.
And we were watching him like just go up to Anthony Black and like, Dante stopping and talking to him. I was like, oh yeah, he's talking to people. Cause I had my friend with me from Vermont. So I was kind of just like, and he's like, wow, he knows all these people. I was like, well, yeah, kind of. He's Magic player history for crying out loud. I mean, he's from Australia. Like he talks to people, and when they find out he's come all that way, they're gonna pop over and say hello. Like it's just a polite thing to do. Right? Like, so yeah, it was great to meet him. We finally met up actually face to face at halftime. Said hello, talked a little bit, and then we said, hey, we'll do a wrap up after the game out on the plaza. Mm-hmm. And my only regret about that wrap up, you should go watch it, by the way, it was pretty good, is that we did not put the America Airlines Center behind us or the Dirk statue, and instead we stood behind us, like in the middle, facing with something else behind us. But that's a nitpick on me. It was a great wrap up. It was a good time. And then we went out and we got some dinner after that. Walked and finally found a place that was staying open, and got to shoot the shit a little bit with him and his travel buddy M, and got to hear about all his doings. He's a world champion record setter and running now.
Did he do it?
The reason that he came over here, he did. You can find out about that also on the wrap up. And had a hellacious travel schedule to get home, including going back through Memphis, Iceland, Paris. Like this guy puts it out here for this team. Like don't anyone ever thinks they're going to be funny by saying that. Jay, he came over for the running thing, but he also got in 2 Magic games over here too, in Memphis and in Dallas. This guy loves this friggin' team more than you can ever think about loving this team, and puts in the effort to do it. And it was just great to meet him and spend some time with him and talk to him about some stuff that wasn't Magic. We got to actually spend some time afterwards, and it was a good time. But I recommend checking out the wrap up for the Dallas and Magic game. It was a heartbreaking game, but still a lot of fun. And I know in the interest of wrapping the show up in time, let's just move to the large ending.
All right, let's do it, Peach. So you got the button, Peach? Where's the button today? Can you hit it?
It's down here.
Okay, there he goes. Okay, Peach. Who's starting off? I'm starting off. So, I just noticed today that your Tar Heels are playing the Duke Blue Devils. That will probably have a little bit of talk in the Magic locker room between Cole and Wendell and Paolo and those gentlemen. Have you been watching? Have you started watching your Tar Heels? Do you watch it this time of year? What's your
I
vibe
saw
like?
some highlights where they lost the other night, which I was not in favor of. They lost to an inferior foe. I can't remember who it was. This is about the time of year when I start to pick it back up.
Okay.
So I'll start getting into it a little bit more and get ready for the madness of March.
Okay.
But yeah, have not picked up. I've seen a lot of highlights, and I kind of keep up with records in the top 25. And so I think Marquette is probably doing better than North Carolina at this point from teams I support.
Wow.
And of course, UVM still dominating the America East, because that's what they do, baby.
Oh yeah, let's go Cats. Go Cats, go.
I want to ask you about the the place called Top Golf. Are you familiar with it? Have you been to one?
It's like indoor golf.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
If you've not been, you're coming here
Let's
in
do
like
it.
a week, right?
Yeah.
We're
2
going.
weeks.
It's
Yeah,
a lot of
something like
fun. It's a lot of fun. I would recommend it to almost anybody at this point. Like, you don't even have to be good at golf. They have these fun games, and there's like a microchip in each ball, so they know where it goes. It's really fun. Like,
Let's do it.
There's an Angry Birds version. I'm not gonna. It's good. Check
Let's
it
do
out.
it.
They're not a
I'm
sponsor, but
Yeah.
they're fun.
Okay, Peach. For those of you who don't know, Peach has become a Magic casual because he is throwing his heart behind the Dallas Stars for a good reason. He just moved to Dallas and gets free tickets. So you've gone to almost every single home game. You've just missed one. I know, sadly, the streak had to be broken.
I've missed 2 now. Yeah.
You've missed 2 now. So who's better right now, like in terms of record? Who, like the Dallas Stars or the Orlando Magic?
Oh, the Stars are definitely better than the Magic. Yeah. The
they
Stars are one of the top. They're one of the top teams in the West.
Okay.
I believe they might be second or third best record in the West at this point.
Okay.
They definitely are one of the best teams in hockey. Yeah.
Damn, I was kind of hoping they sucked.
Also,
so that
you forgot to mention that they pay the bills for me. This is not
That's
just
true.
me hopping on random on the Stars bandwagon. Let me follow these guys. No, they pay the bills. They send me to those games for free, by the way.
Right. No, there's legitimate reasons here. I was just hoping that they actually sucked so that, in the next coming years, you'll kind of sour on them and then come back more to the Magic fandom.
It's for me, it's honestly about just watching NBA regular season basketball. I've never watched a lot of it. I've always had to force myself to watch it, and I forced myself to watch it for this show only. If it wasn't for this show, I would very rarely watch a regular season NBA game. I'm not into it. I'm sick of the carrying and all the stupid foul calls.
I loved the game last night.
The intensity is not always there.
The Timberwolves game, the refs, the Zebras swallowed the whistle. It was physical. They weren't blowing the whistle every time someone was going to the paint. They need to referee games like that. Let's bring defense back again, please, NBA.
Ooh,
yeah.
Bring defense back again. I
Yeah,
think there's a
we go.
red hat in your future with that written on it. I want to ask you about barbecue. I know you're excited to come here and try tacos, and we can definitely have a good taco run.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever discussed barbecue because it's not really part of our French background heritage or your Irish heritage. It's not really in there, but I feel like you're the kind of guy that, like, I go to Maryland, I have a crab cake. You know what I mean? So, like, are you going to want a barbecue while you're here? And how much research should I do for this? Because
is that something that they do there? Is that Dallas is big with barbecue? I mean, Texas.
I mean, you hear this guy? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Barbecue.
Maybe we'll lessen the tacos because I've already been to San Diego, which is like spit into the Mexico border. I only ate tacos in San Diego. Let's go to Dallas. Maybe I'll only eat barbecue while I'm there.
Whoa, that's a big claim. That's a big claim. We'll see how that turns out.
Mostly barbecue. So another food topic. You're right. This is a food segment, I guess. Peach is a connoisseur of let's say intermediate to quick foods and different establishments.
Quick foods.
What right now is your favorite spot in your area? Is there one that I don't know of?
Well, yeah, you don't know about Whataburger.
Yes,
that's just a Texas thing, and you wouldn't know about. Well, you've probably heard of it, Jack in the Box.
Okay,
I think I've even mentioned it on the show before. Those are
nice.
My top 2 like fast food spots, especially because you can't really get them a lot of other. Jack in the Box is pretty nationwide, but mostly in the South. There's not a lot of them in the North. Those are definitely my top 2. I'm not eating a ton of fast food. I try to limit to like at least once, maybe twice a week. But those are the ones like you gotta hit. By the way, one of the most impressive things that I've seen in fast food history is done by another local group that's known as Dude Perfect. I'm sure you've heard of them. They make a lot of fun videos and stuff. Their headquarters is in Frisco, not far from our rink. They actually use our rink sometimes when they're doing hockey stuff. So hopefully that's going to come up soon. And they did a thing where one of the guys tested all the fast food fries blindfolded and told you where they all came from. And it was like 10 or 11 places. There's a lot. And he goddamn nails that thing. It's impressive. Check it out. Again, Dude Perfect, not a sponsor, just a fan. I'm saying check it out. When I see something I like, I'm going to tell you about it. Or I do something I like, I'm going to tell you about it. It's not about the money always. I just want you to have a great experience and remember where you heard it from. Speaking of experiences, this one's probably not going to be as great because I pulled up this graphic here, which is the way I feel, but I was curious. Right. I didn't know. How do you feel about this year's Super Bowl? Obviously, our team shit the bed on the way to the bowl. And hey, this is it, I think. I think this is an appropriate graphic for this Super Bowl because I couldn't give a shit about it.
I could care less. I guess I would like the Niners to win less because there's more of a rivalry between the Cowboys and the Niners that goes back.
Okay. Yep. Fair.
So if I had to choose, I would prefer the Chiefs, but I don't, my boy's having a party. Hey, you want to come over? I'm like, not really. No, I'll come over early and leave before the game. I don't want to be up late on a Sunday.
Right.
So that's how little I won't watch it. I probably won't watch the second half.
It reminded me of like when the Seattle Seahawks played the Steelers like a few years back, and it was like, luckily I went to a buddy's party and we were playing poker and getting into all kinds of other shenanigans because I couldn't give a shit about the game. I do, for the same reasons you feel as the Niners, that's the way I feel about the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs, maybe almost the most in football. They're definitely near the top.
You really have something against Patrick Mahomes.
They're in the division with the Broncos, and they're also always knocking the Bills out of the playoffs, despite not being able to handle the Bills during the regular season. So, yes, I would rather see the Niners win, I suppose, than another Chiefs Super Bowl win. The Niners haven't won in a while. Screw it, let them win.
All I care about is that the Buccaneers quarterback is going to the Pro Bowl. What the fuck is that guy?
Baker Mayfield?
There you go. I thought some of our listeners probably like that.
And we got all this way and talked about the Super Bowl for that long, and we didn't talk about that dumb bitch that sits up there and watches.
Why are you really part of the story? Why do you care? Why is everyone so up in arms about Taylor? All right.
Actually, it's not her fault.
No,
it's not her fault.
She's just going to support her hubby.
They're over like watching her and talking about her. That's not really her fault per se. But I still don't necessarily believe that it's a real thing. I think she came with I think he signed on with Pfizer for those commercials, and like, as part of the deal, you get Taylor Swift. And it's like, okay.
Speaking of sporting events I don't normally watch, or I wouldn't like to watch, are you going to watch the NBA All-Star game now that we have Paolo in it? I guess I probably will now.
Probably, yeah. Got to check that out, I would imagine. Yeah, got to watch the young lad. I might not watch it normally.
Right.
Depends on what I'm doing. If I'm home sitting around, I will definitely watch it, but I wouldn't like record it and watch it. But with Paolo there, I think I gotta check it out.
Okay. Word. All right, Peach, I gotta go. The lady and I are going to an art gallery. She's gonna kill me if I'm not downstairs soon, and my Mac is going to die. But this has been episode 60. Thank you so much, Second Cousins. Love you very much. Make sure to get your Court Cousins night, March 21st tickets. It's in our description of this video and all over our socials. Hope to see you there.
The tickets are discounted. You could ignore us if you want.
Right.
Just come hang out. Just come hang out of the game.
Free shit. Yeah. All right. Peace out, Peace. I love you, man. Peace.
I love you. Thanks for coming.